So how are we doing 2 months in? Will this be a year favoring buyers or a year favoring sellers? In this video, we will cover the February market reports and offer insights about the real estate market. While no one has a crystal ball, we've included some trends you'll want to pay attention to. I'm Cher Revolinski, a realtor here in the Denver area, and I love educating and guiding you to make the best decisions possible based on your unique situations. You know, as we look at the real estate market reports analyzing the February data, we can see a lot of things. Already, the market as an industry has been feeling a lot of stress. Every day on the news, you're hearing about rate volatility, minimal buyer activity, sellers not putting their homes for sale. It just seems that real estate and the inventory crisis have become such common topics of conversation. The Denver metro housing market typically sees an increase in activity from January to February as the busy home buying and selling season gets underway. This year, according to RE Colorado data, the number of new listings and closings increased month to month. Additionally, the number of listings that moved to pending or under contract saw an uptick, which is a leading indicator, of course, of future closings. Buyer activity saw a seasonal increase in February as home shoppers got a jump on the busy buying season. The number of contracts executed on homes was 18% higher than January. Inventory challenges are expected to persist in 2023, thanks in part to what economists are calling the lock-in effect. Many would-be sellers who are locked into low mortgage rates are choosing to stay placed in lieu of putting their home on the market. And as a result, the number of fresh listings that sellers are bringing to the market is lower than we've ever seen in previous Februaries. In fact, the number of new listings that came on the market was lower than any February since 2010. But the selling season kicked into gear with 31% more Denver metro homes closing in February than January. Closings were down 18% compared to the last year. But according to the Denver Metro Association of Realtors data, the median closed price for a Denver metro home was down 2% as compared to a year ago, but up 4% from January. This month-over-month lift in median prices was a result of increased buyer activity. Our median closed price here in Denver is now $562,000, and our average is $657,000. So anyone worried about the market crashing, the data just isn't reflecting any indication of that. Some of you, in fact, may be waiting for prices to come down. If we continue with our seasonal norms, we may see a slight dip that will be much later in the year. And by then, the interest rates may come down, and this could spur buyer activity. And in that case, the seasonality of our prices may not materialize. You know, homes moved off the market more quickly in February than in January as home shoppers jumped into the market and executed contracts on properties. When looking at previous Februaries, shoppers are taking longer to make home buying decisions. We see this as longer days on market compared to last year. But our days on market have been decreasing, and our active inventory is getting picked up by buyers. You know, I get great stats every week from Megan Aller over at First American Title. Just this week, she reminded us that monitoring the reports each week is much more valuable than each month. One reason is that February saw a slower start to the month with Super Bowl and President's Day weekend back to back. And as predicted, the following weekend saw a major uptick in showings and pending transactions. The market continues to pick up as we head into spring. We're actually seeing trends that reflect a more normal market like we saw in 2013 and 2019. That normalcy is seen in a slight increase each month in home prices, but not the crazy bidding wars we saw in the past 2 years. And according to Megan, in February of the closed transactions, 28% of detached homes and 14% of attached homes on the market sold for over asking price, and that over was 2.8% on average. Here's a major reason to look closely at the data each week. Median days in the MLS for the month of February for closed transactions was 26 days. But when we look at the pending transactions for the week of March 1st through March 7th, median days was only 7 days. This shows our market really heating up for the spring. In the third week of February, we were putting more properties under contract than new listings entering the market. This creates a compression phase that will last until the end of April, when inventory tends to rise. In May, our buyers will become distracted with Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, graduations, and Memorial Day. So we may see new listings in May sit a bit longer before the right buyer comes along. So right now is truly prime listing season for sellers who want to be under contract quickly and in increasing cases with multiple offers. Here's some interesting tidbits to share at your next cocktail party. Did you know that 71% of Colorado homes have a mortgage, meaning 29% are owned free and clear? And 92% of those mortgaged homes are locked in at a rate under 5%. So those homeowners who may have wanted to sell their homes are likely staying put, at least for a while. Not many people will willingly trade a low interest rate for a higher one. But some homeowners who have the cash to purchase a new home, whether pulling out of equity of their existing home or just using their savings, are still buying and still selling. Let's look back a bit. In fact, the average home in Denver has increased in value by 142% in the past 10 years. And 44% of that occurred just in the past 2 years. That's a lot of equity and shows real estate to be a healthy investment. You know, they say hindsight is always 20/20. And looking back, any buyers who had the opportunity to purchase last year likely locked in their 30-year fixed rate mortgage in the 2s or the 3s. And good for them on their interest rate. The homeowners who might be upset are the ones who drastically overpaid for a house last year during the frenzy. While it wasn't necessarily a bad investment for the long term, they may not be able to sell for the same amount this year. But the good news is that homeowners don't typically day trade their homes. We buy and hold on an average of 7 to 10 years. So if you bought a home last year and you're worried about its value, I would suggest just focus on something else for a while. History shows that home prices continue to rise even during a recession and especially after one. So as long as you continue to make your home mortgage payments, just stay put for a bit. You know, the nature of markets is that they change. And as we've seen, they can change pretty rapidly. As an experienced realtor, we're a bit like a portfolio manager. We watch the market, gauging the activity, sensing the changes, issuing insights and warnings to clients, helping clients make decisions on when to buy and when to sell and when to hold. You know, every situation is so unique. And you've seen that each week is unique. So be sure to reach out if you like to chat about your situation. And all you'll get is an honest assessment from me. So is it a good time to be a buyer? Or is it a good time to be a seller? You know, typically we can answer that question fairly easily with the data supporting one side or the other favorably. But right now, it's an absolute mix. As a seller, you may not get the same sale price that your neighbors did last year. And your house may be on the market for a few weeks instead of just a few hours like we saw last year. But if you're priced right, bidding wars are still happening. And as a buyer, if you're getting a mortgage, you'll be paying a higher interest rate. But you aren't likely needing to compete in crazy bidding wars that we saw last year. So you could save money on your purchase price, and that really adds up. Additionally, even though the interest rates are higher, in some situations, sellers are helping to pay your interest rate down back to a manageable level. That's great news, so hit me up if you need more information about that. So as either a buyer or a seller, some of you may want to sit out for a bit and see what happens. Totally fine. This market isn't for everyone, but there's still a lot of opportunity out there. So if you're thinking of making a move this year, let's talk. Cher Revolinski from eXp Realty. Talk to you soon.